and real, as unknown and knowing, as dying and look, we are alive. We were seen as punished but not killed, as going through pain but always happy, as poor but making many rich, and having nothing but having everything. Paul's long list, and there was even more than that, his long list of these opposites are reminders that both being poor and being rich, suffering and being happy, both of those things are not quite as important as being able to be near our heart's desire, which is God. As being able to follow in Jesus' footsteps to the best of their ability. That was what was important to the early Christians, and it brought perspective to their lives. Tonight, as we are marked with the sign of ashes, as we remember we were created from dust, and to dust we will return, we are given a similar perspective. A reminder of the things in this life that are important, but not so important. It gives us perspective, remembering that we are going to die. And I find that the ashes are very humbling to me. And they're a bit sad, and they remind me how fragile this life is, and I don't really like to think about that, but it's important to remember so that I live for the important things. And so that I remember a lot of the things I deem important are the things that will slip away anyway. It's the relationships, the love, those things that will last. But this year, I'm focused a little bit different on those ashes, on the dust we are created from, and the dust we will return to. I'm thinking of it a little differently because I am remembering a dear person who passed away last week, a person dear to my wife and I, our daughter's godmother, the one who baptized her, the one who was a dear friend to us for, ever since we were in seminary together. Marilyn went on after seminary to be a pastor for a bit. Then she went to teaching school. And then she really entered into her passion, which was being a resource person for the homeless or those who were just becoming reestablished in their homes, reestablished with their lives. She was a person, she was walking hospitality, frankly. And wherever she went, she managed to pull people together and create a sense of community and family. That was her gift. And she was especially watchful for those who might be on the edge or the fringes or just beyond that sense of family. And somehow she had the gift of working them into the sense of family. And so it was so fitting that she was working with people, helping them back into community and into homes and into fulfilling lives. But then something happened with Marilyn. She had diabetes, but also a couple other illnesses. There was a fall, there was an illness, there was a break in the heel, and that didn't heal too well with the diabetes. And then there was an infection, and it just snowballed. It snowballed to the point where every once in a while she would just kind of disappear from the grid. And it wasn't that she was gone, it was that she ended up in the hospital and was sent to another care facility to recover, where for months at a time she couldn't get out, and that wasn't the way she wanted to live. And then it came to the point, at the last year and a half or so, where everything snowballed to the point where this person who loved to teach and to learn and to share hospitality really couldn't get out of the room she was in the care facility and was dependent upon people coming to visit her. And unfortunately, when they came to visit, things had deteriorated to the point where she was confused. And sometimes she recognized them, sometimes she wouldn't. And she was only 68 years old. And I think about that, and I think about being created from dust and returning to dust. And I'm sad about Marilyn's passing, but I'm I'm also happy in a strange sense. Because if Marilyn wasn't sharing and being hospitable, she wasn't being her full self that she was called to be. And she wasn't teaching and learning and giving. She wasn't being her full self. And when she let go of this life, it means she was able to let go of those things that had started to limit her life completely. She was able to let go of the mind that was confused and step back into the fullness of her spiritual self. And that's a good thing. Even though for me it's a sense of loss, thinking of not being able to see her on this side of heaven again. I invite you as you come forward to receive the ashes tonight, to take a moment, and if you don't come forward, still take that moment, to think of something in your life. So often we think about these ashes, we think about what's hard to let go of, but think of something in your life that will probably be easy to let go of. Because we are created from dust, we are fragile, and we accumulate wounds and breaks and hurts and limitations. It's just part of life going on, and the older we get, the more of those we accumulate, and some are easy enough to live with. Some aren't so easy to live with. And some we will be glad to let go of when God gives the gift of new life. And some things will be good to be rid of. And that is